Very good evening, viewers, and good evening, my dear students. And this time I am going to discuss, in the context of GST, the concept of job work. Job work means undertaking any treatment or process by a person on goods belonging to another registered taxable person. The person who is treating or processing the goods belonging to other person is called job worker, and the person to whom the goods belongs is called principal. Now the question arises whether goods sent by a taxable person to a job worker will be treated as supply and liable to GST. The answer is very simple. It will be treated as a supply, as supply includes all forms of supply such as sale, transfer, etc. However, the registered taxable person, the principal, under intimation and subject to such conditions as may be prescribed, send any inputs and or capital goods without payment of tax to a job worker for a job work, and from there subsequently to another job worker or workers, and shall either bring back such inputs or capital goods after completion of job work or otherwise within 1 year or 3 years of their being sent out, or supply such input or capital goods after completion of job work or otherwise within 1 year or 3 years of their being sent out from the place of business of a job worker on payment of tax within India, or with or without payment of tax for export. Now, next important question: is a job worker required to take registration? The answer is yes. As job work is a service, the job worker would be required to obtain registration if his aggregate turnover exceeds the prescribed threshold. Now, the next question coming: whether the goods of principal directly supplied from the job worker's premises will be included in the aggregate turnover of the job worker. So, it is a very pertinent question. Answer is no. It will be included in the aggregate turnover of the principal. However, the value of goods or services used by the job worker for carrying out the job work will be included in the value of services supplied by the job worker. Now, the next question coming: can a principal send inputs and capital goods directly to the premises of job worker without bringing it to his premises? The answer is yes. The principal is allowed to do so. The input tax credit of tax paid on inputs or capital goods can also be availed by the principal. In such a scenario, the inputs or capital goods must be received back within 1 year or 3 years respectively, failing which the original transaction would be treated as supply and the principal would be liable to pay tax accordingly. Now the question arises, can the principal supply the goods directly from the premises of the job worker without bringing it back to his own premises? Answer is yes. But the principal should have declared the premises of an unregistered job worker as his additional place of business. If the job worker is a registered person, then goods can be supplied directly from the premises of the job worker. The commissioner may also notify goods, in which case goods sent for job work can be directly supplied from the premises of the job worker. Now, I'm coming to the next part. Under what circumstances can the principal directly supply goods from the premises of job worker without declaring the premises of job worker as his additional place of business? The goods can be supplied directly from the place of business of job worker without declaring it as additional place of business in two circumstances, namely where the job worker is a registered taxable person, or where the principal is engaged in supply of such goods as may be notified by the commissioner. Next question that is coming: what are the provisions concerning taking ITC in respect of inputs or capital goods sent to a job worker? Principal shall be entitled to take credit of taxes paid on inputs or capital goods sent to a job worker, whether sent after receiving them at his place of business, or even when such the inputs or capital goods are directly sent to a job worker without their being first brought to his place of business. However, the inputs or capital goods after completion of job worker are required to be received back or supplied from job worker's premises, as the case may be, within a period of 1 year or 3 years of their being sent out. Next question: what happens when the inputs or capital goods are not received back or supplied from the place of business of job worker within prescribed time period? The answer is, if the inputs or capital goods are not received back by the principal or are not supplied from the place of business of job worker within the prescribed time limit, it would be deemed that such inputs or capital goods had been supplied by the principal to the job worker on the day when the said inputs or capital goods were sent out by the principal, or on the date of receipt by the job worker, where the inputs or capital goods were sent directly to the place of business of job worker. Thus, the principal would be liable to pay tax accordingly. Next question: some capital goods like jigs and fixtures are non-usable after their use and normally sold as scrap. What is the treatment of such items in job work provisions? The answer is, the condition of bringing back capital goods within 3 years is not applicable to molds, dies, jigs, and fixtures or tools. Next question: what would be the treatment of the waste and scrap generated during the job work? The waste and scrap generated during the job work can be supplied by the job worker directly from his place of business on payment of tax if he is registered. If he is not registered, the same would be supplied by the principal on payment of tax. Next question: whether intermediate goods can also be sent for job work? The answer is yes. The term inputs for the purpose of job work includes intermediate goods arising from any treatment or process carried out on the inputs by the principal or job worker. Next question is, who is responsible for the maintenance of proper accounts related to job work? The answer is, it is completely the responsibility of the principal to maintain proper accounts of job work related input and capital goods. Then I am coming to our next question. Are the provisions of job work applicable to all categories of goods? The simple answer is no. The provisions relating to job work are applicable only when registered taxable person intends to send taxable goods. In other words, these provisions are not applicable to exempted or non-taxable goods, or when the sender is a person other than registered taxable person. Coming to the next part, is it compulsory that job work provision should be followed by the principal? The obvious answer is no. The principal can send the inputs or capital goods after payment of GST without following the special procedure. In such a case, the job worker would take the input tax credit and supply back the processed goods after completion of job work on payment of GST. And we are coming to our next part and the last part. Should job worker and principal be located in same state or union territory? The answer is no. This is not necessary, as provision relating to job work have been adopted in the IGST Act as well as in UTGST Act, and therefore job worker and principal can be located either in same state or in same union territory or in different states or union territories. Hope all the relevant questions that may arise from the very perception of job work is clear to you. Now, job work in the context of GST is a hot issue and questions are often coming from this. So please try to understand the points that I have justified in this particular video with respect to job world in the form of questions and answers. And remember, if you remember these questions and answers, then automatically it is better than to read a textbook on GST. It is a simple approach. Hope you have understood this. Thank you for viewing this video. Please refer to PK Shikdar Advanced Learning for the students, and also please visit to the new website of PK Shikdar Advanced Learning, that is www.pkshikdaradvancedlearning.com. And if you are viewing in the Facebook, don't forget to like and don't forget to give your comments. Thank you very much.